Hey, what's going on guys, it's Panda here and we are back for some more Katawa Shoujo, and I would like to thank whoever told me, I'm sorry I've forgotten your username, I do apologise for that, whoever told me that this one here was actually from the first chapter of Hisao, not actually part of Hanako or Lily, or well, it's part of all three, or all of them if you get what I mean. It's the main starting point, the building blocks for all relationships, put it that way. It's a nice way of putting it. Also, I don't have much time today either because, well, my friend kind of sprung an idea on me very lately saying, hey, let's go do something, with complete short notice, oh sure, and then I didn't realise I hadn't recorded any Katawa Shoujo, so I'm doing that now. I was thinking of you. I already have something for you. Weird. She produces a cinnamon bun from under her desk, raising it to her head level slowly, like a magician levitating a rock. It's a magic trick. But there is only one, not enough for both of us. How dramatic. I can tell what this means. A feeling of deja vu briefly washes over. Could just split it. That's no fun. It's so boring. Let's play shoji for it. It's shoji. She already has the board out. The desk, that dust. Oh my, whoa. Far out, massive dyslexia there. That desk must have everything in it. Not chess. Chess has boring promotions. This is better. I don't know about that. Well, I'm actually pretty decent at shoji, so this is fine. Is that so? Is that so? Okay, we can make it a little more interesting then. Each move has to be completed in 30 seconds. You can add a rule too. No thanks. Anything I could add would only hurt me more than it would help. A 30-second time limit is already too tight for me. Something else that's already too tight for you. You're making me regret thinking it was alright to brag a little. After Shizune wins the right to go first in a quick coin toss, she immediately starts playing with the aim of promoting all of her pieces as soon as possible. It seems like a very basic playstyle, and I can't help thinking it might be a trap of some sort, and no doubt with Shizune I wouldn't be surprised. It's not though. Of this game to Shizune appears to be the fact that she can upgrade her pieces and steal mine. She's very good at it, but it makes her predictable. I end up doing a little better than I'd expected to. Yes! Are we finally going to win a game against Shizune? 30-second time limit is pretty painful though. The game ends in a draw. Oh damn it. At this point, I think you're supposed to either go for a rematch or tally the pieces for points, or just eat the cinnamon bun. Shizune doesn't want to go again in the interest of but winning on points clearly doesn't satisfy her. She sits there, shifting her silver general from one edge to the other as she contemplates which of those two options she'll go for. It takes so long to think that I had forgotten about the bet. That she has forgotten about the bet. Eventually, she stops fiddling with the shoji piece and puts it down. Is Misha angry at me? What? That's a sudden, drastic change in conversation. Went from playing a board game, betting on who's going to eat the cinnamon bun, to whether Misha's pissed off at Shizune. Well, okay. That really came out of nowhere. It really did. Just like a dick up the arse. Shizune's frankness is disorientating. Because with her, any kind of candor is a sign of total seriousness. There is no playful smile on her face. Instead, it's her usual stoic mask of concentration, ready to try and see if I'm about to tell her the truth. I'm upset that she thinks that I would tell her anything else, but I also know now that I have probably fought recently, out of my sight, and it makes me feel warm to know that they both care about each other so much. No, I strongly doubt it. Did you know that she thinks you're angry at... Wait, did you know that she thinks you're angry at her? Oh, she looks a little depressed. Shizune nods slowly and uncomfortably. Yes. She was more roundabout with the question, and yet kind of surprising because happy with the thought. I feel like I've stepped on a landmine. Kaboom! Stepped on that one. Sorry, actually yes, just a tiny one. Okay, maybe it's a bit big. Alright, maybe it's a huge clusterfuck. No, okay, maybe it's the end of the world. I know that she has no interest in the student council. She only joined because of me. I'm still grateful. I'm so happy she's my friend, but I don't understand what she is upset about all the time. Why don't you just ask her? She won't tell me. I'll figure it out myself instead. I was sure that I was very perceptive, even if I can't hear. That was dumb. I know better now. It is probably something that is my fault. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. You're very forceful upon others. Shizune doesn't elaborate further on what it could have been. I'm sure that it is because she does not fully understand the situation herself. It's odd to think that Shizune, usually so sure of everything, could be scared by a little argument with a friend, but the more I think about it, the more it makes sense. They're a lot closer to each other than normal friends, and Shizune is pretty isolated from other people in a way. The fact that she is deaf is no small part of it. But I get the feeling that she uses Misha as a buffer between other people of her own will, not just because it's been forced onto her. She can communicate well enough with her little pad, she just hates it. After such a long time of talking through another person, I guess you start to lose touch. It seems unavoidable. It isn't such a far out idea to think that she isn't that great with people. I'd have to agree. I return to working, kind of wanting to eat that cinnamon bun more as the time drags on, but when I count the shoji pieces still left out on Shizune's table, I can tell at a glance she would win. Nah, you're just giving in. I'm almost too hungry to concentrate if I were to have a rematch. Motivated by my desire to wrap up and eat something, I put the finishing touches on the last of the posters. Done. I think this many is enough. Too many can be a bad... Well, sorry. Too many can be a bad thing. Okay. That's it? Just... okay. Question mark? I'll probably do some myself, after I'm done picking what voting format to go with. Too many passes is bad too. Haven't you ever heard of oversaturation? I really think you're trying too hard. So that's it. Disability isn't her deafness, it's that she's constantly a tryhard. Tending her fingers like she always does, Shizune looks like she could almost admit it. Maybe. It's what Misha thinks too. I watch as her fingers continue uneasily twining around and pulling at each other in a miniature tug of war. I don't mind, but I asked around in a couple of classes today and interest is low. It's like you said, so... does that make it wrong? No, but it does make it kind of pointless. It's not. Yeah, but to who? I doubt even Shizune truly believes that. I'm not doing all this work just for my own ego. That isn't what I mean. The first chance to be alone with her in days and I have already really cocked it up. Still, she doesn't actually look angry. It's more like she's frustrated than she can't express herself clearly though. Since she's an expert in sign language, I wouldn't think that would be the case. I wonder what advantage being able to speak would offer her if she has ever thought about it. It's another project of mine, just like the festivals. I'm going to do it, but it's my job. It's just that a student council election isn't as fun as a festival, so no one cares. She briefly touches her fingertips together as if to say, but maybe there is some truth to it. But Shizune doesn't want to say anything that could be boiled down into something so glib, 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 glib. But I don't care. I want to get people riled up, but it isn't about me. I don't want to be involved at all. What do you mean? You go to like every single festival. Shizune waves her hand in mock indignation. Well, I have to have fun too, but you know, it's not the same thing. Her spirits seem to have improved, if she can manage to crack a joke. I don't want anyone to make a point of being involved. It's a hassle. I don't want that responsibility. Things are becoming too complicated now as is. The more I try to hype up the elections, the more involved I have to be. No one wants to play their hand yet, and it doesn't feel like my time is over, even though it should. You really need to stop worrying too much, Shizune. You worry far too much. It doesn't make you as fun as I had hoped. Crossing her arms and leaning back, she grinds her teeth. Oh, I thought she was going to grind something else. Together in frustration, grinding on me, or the table leg, maybe the big stripper pole, just down here. She could maybe grind on that. No, okay. Maybe she was just grinding her teeth. No. They're all so lazy. It's impossible to get them to do anything. Anywhere else, the elections would have been an exciting event. It's illogical. Why does everyone have to be so different? If only there was some way to punish them. Like chaining the school to their desks. Voting is mandatory. If you don't vote, you get whipped. Jesus. Terrifying. I wonder how hypocritical it would be if I were to stay in bed on election day with the flu and a cold and strep throat and sprained ankle. That's quite a combination. You should put yourself on one of these. Not as punishment. Don't misunderstand. Hold up one of Misha's posters. Like this. It's kind of a neat idea. Misha was onto something. It's a lot cuter than just text. I think you would like it. Having cute mascots would drum up some excitement. Maybe if it's just Misha. Why not me? Someone told me that this school has slightly more girls than boys. You have to cater to that demographic too. Shizune giggles audibly this time. I'm surprised, and when she sees my face, so is she. Her face flushes pink, embarrassed to have let out a sound, which is really confusing to say the least. Why don't you put yourself on it? She just waves my question away. It's troublesome. What do you mean, troublesome? Everyone knows that you're in the student council. My stomach growls, so does mine, because I'm really hungry and haven't had lunch, and it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Making me realise that I'm hungrier than I'd thought. Shizune uses the moment to deflect my question by changing the subject. Is something wrong? No, my stomach growled. I see. She looks at the forgotten pastry on her desk, then frowns, finding it inadequate for 2 people. Let's go to the Shanghai if you are that hungry. I might be a little busy this late, but Yuko is working there today. We'll definitely get a table. Oh, sweet. Haven't seen Yuko in ages. There was something worryingly unhanded in that smile. I'll pass. I've already been there twice this week, back to back. She zoomed out, leaning back against her desk and scrunching up her posture in protest. What? I'm disappointed you said no. Well, I can't agree with you on everything. You don't give your opinion often enough anyway. It would be easiest for me if it was like that, but not very interesting, right? There are some decisions you should disagree with me on, then you have a duty to. How am I supposed to know which is which? It's easy. No, it's not. No, it's not. Sometimes it's hard for me to tell whether you're joking or serious. Although since she communicates entirely in sign language, that would seem pretty obvious. I wouldn't say that it's all there is to it though. I remember when I had my heart attack. Awanako wouldn't stop talking at first. Eventually, I wished that she would just shut up, or I would have, if I hadn't been happy to have any kind of company at all. Gradually, I stopped being so grateful. When we talked, it felt like it was nothing more than ritual exchanges of politeness. Awanako tried extremely hard to obfuscate how she felt, which was that I was hopeless. In the end, her outer behaviour matched her inner feelings. For that reason, I was able to accept it. When one day she stopped showing up, I was no longer surprised by the time it happened. Even though she considered herself a master at hiding her feelings, I was not surprised. I've heard that games like shogi and chess can tell you a lot about a person. I wish I knew what Shizune thought they said about me. It could be that I'm a little more like Awanako than I'd like to think. If I can only tie with Shizune by retreating, I suggest that we should order out. next day, I walk up to my usual vending machine at lunch only to find that it's out of my favourite drink. Secreted so far away from the most of the classrooms between the storeroom and the library, it's like no one knew about it. I'd expected a vending machine so close to the library to be booming with customers, but then again, the library is empty most of the time, and anyone who goes there is only doing it to look for stuff to pad a paper with. No one stays there longer than they absolutely have to, unless it's Hanako. For the past month, it's been working out in my favour, but the trade-off with a vending machine no one knows about is that it's never restocked. Settling for a can of orange soda, I decide on drinking it here instead of waiting until I get to the cafeteria when the library door opens next to me. Yuko! Okay, maybe it wasn't that kind of maybe it was Maybe she's not horny like I thought. I've been looking for you. Or, I've been looking for you. Yuko seems horny and wants to have okay, maybe not. Yuko seems to be acting a lot more assertive than usual today, although it isn't enough to keep her from going back to mumbling immediately afterwards. Oh, I thought she was mumbling. She said she was mumbling. Return your books, please. I mean, the library books. The books you checked out are really overdue. Some of them are on waiting lists. Oops, I forgot. I keep checking out new ones and forget to return the old ones. Bad Hisao. It happens to me all the time at the university library. It's so embarrassing. Do they send someone to try and get you to bring them back? You're repo man for library books. No, the university library is bigger. They don't notice if I happen to borrow something longer than normal. It's convenient because their policy on keeping the books too long is really strict. Stricter than here. I like how despite what she said, Yuko has no problem with borrowing books for longer than she is supposed to anyway. It makes her being so on top of my own lateness a little hypocritical. It takes a thief, I guess. Catching on to the meaning of her words around the same time I do, Yuko clams up and starts backpedaling furiously. That's different from this situation. It's totally different. Yuko stares at her nails for a second as if she really wants to bite them, but is too self-conscious to do so. For instance, how long it's been. You checked out some of those books a month ago. Hisao, sorry, it's just that other people want to read them too. If you're a slow reader, that's okay though. No, it's a total screw up on my part. To be honest, I haven't even read some of them. I shouldn't keep taking out books when I have a backlog. That's not good. Yeah, it really isn't. Now I'm starting to copy her habit of trailing off quietly. Her awkwardness is very contagious for some reason. Usually awkwardness is. That said, I'm surprised. Yuko seems almost normal today, although every now and then her waitressy nervous tics keep popping back up. Come to think of it, she didn't act this way when I first met her. She was a little clumsy and neurotic, but it wasn't anywhere near this severe until Shizune, Misha and I ran into her at the Shanghai. It could be that Yuko has a complex about having kids from the school seeing her waitressing. I guess it was a little odd for her to pick the closest cafe to school to work in. Then, in that case, maybe the place having so few customers could be considered a lucky break, or maybe it's because of the fact that it's so close to school is why she got the job there, because she doesn't need to travel far to go to her job. That is, of course, if she actually lives in the dormitories here, which I'm not actually too sure of, because she has the whole university thing as well, so, I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna stop it there. Once again, sorry for another very short episode. Another thing, I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to be able to get any further upload. I may be able to get another one up on Saturday, I think, but if not, because I am quite busy this weekend, if not, I'll get another one up on Monday. Monday will be the next upload, so I do apologise if there is a break between. God forbid you have to actually go outside and enjoy the sunshine, you know, for once in your life, but I don't know, but no, I'm just being stupid. Anyway, hope you enjoyed.